All right, hello everyone. Dr. Joel Rosen with Dr. John Thomas, and today we want to talk to you guys about how you can best boost your immune system in these trying times. So, Doc, how you doing, John?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I thought it'd be great because you're seeing all these videos out there and telling people how they can boost their immune system and what different supplements to take. But what I don't see is the genetic component where a lot of people have MTHFR and they know that that's a major challenge in their body's ability for immune system, but they don't know how much it could be impacting them. So I said, hey, why don't we have a conversation which is really relevant to people right now, and give them some concepts and really good takeaways on what they could do if they did have some genetic component challenges as well.
Yeah, so when you're talking about genetic aspects, a lot of people, the MTHFR aspect, and a lot of people understand that that's going to impair methylation activity, it's going to impair detoxification, it's going to impair immune function. And you're exactly right. Like I'm getting, bombarded with emails from like different sources of email lists I'm subscribed to with like all these kind of things that you can do to boost the immune system. And the thing is, it's the usual suspect. You're talking about things like, the herbal components like astragalus and echinacea. You're talking about a lot of like natural approaches that, are saying, all right, colloidal silver or even smaller fragmented silver kind of as a antiviral microbial component. Those are some of the usual suspects with that. And you can take a little bit deeper, because viral aspects, especially this viral thing that's going around now, it's an RNA-based, viral component, and supplementing with like nucleotides, RNA-based nucleotides can kind of prevent that replication. And then you can do other things more advanced like arabinogalactans, which can increase or enhance your natural killer cell activity, which kind of gives you a more boosted immune response to things that are going on there. Now, to take it a little bit deeper, those are kind of one size fits all approaches, and understanding genetic factors, MTHFR and even beyond there are vital for, we're talking about the people that get hit with this are people that are more immune compromised. And I get emails every single day from patients of mine. Hey, I've got an autoimmune issue. Am I more susceptible to this? What should I be doing? Okay. And that's where a lot of the concern lies. I probably had, 6 or 7 today just alone, and it's kind of an everyday thing. When we're talking about genetic factors, we talk about the epigenetic aspect, right? And you're talking about viruses just in general. Viruses are going to gravitate and affect specific proteins or enzymes more so than others. And when you're talking about boosting immunity to be able to fight this, if somebody goes into a certain genetic weakness, I look at some of the things we've previously talked about with viruses, especially how it affects things like mast cell activation, or how it affects or inhibits or slows down glutathione peroxidase enzymes, which then is going to decrease your body's ability to be able to release glutathione to be able to fight the fight. And so if somebody's going into this with genetic factors, or they have weakness in or SNPs in some of these key genes, then that is going to maybe, put them at a higher risk because they may not be able to fight the fight like other people. So if somebody has genetic weakness in glutathione peroxidase enzymes, for instance, and that is something that's on most genetic tests like 23andMe or Ancestry, the tests that we do, they're going to want to do things to support that. And one of the things they can do is they can boost selenium intake. They can, do things to help hydrogen peroxide clearance, like start drinking hydrogen water and things of that nature. So there might be a little bit more specific focused approach for those people that kind of fall into that category of being more immune compromised and at higher risk.
Yeah, and I think the analogy, me with my analogies, the analogy I like on this one is if you're going to go fishing, it's best to have those new things now that, well, they're not so new anymore, but the sonars and the sonographs where you can see where the higher density of fish are. And that's what a genetic test is, what we look at in terms of these are the potentials. So let's say someone has some major challenges with being able to make their antioxidants and they have a viral load, that is going to create that perfect storm, which you have taught people in terms of you have genetic susceptibilities. Those are your lanes of highways. and then you have your epigenetic factors. Those are the cars on the highway, and where the two meet, where one is a lot of traffic and one is a lot of lane closures, that's where you really have weakened traffic thoroughfare. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, hey, I'm concerned about my immune health, social distancing. I'm on, you know, I feel a tickle. I feel, you know, dizzy. I have potentially, you know, everyone thinks the worst too, right? As soon as they feel good. And not to minimize that, if that's something they're really concerned about, they want to take the proper precautions to be able to make sure they are healthy. But what we're talking about is being able to empower people to not just throw crap against the wall and watch all these social media stuff that people are saying, okay, take the astragalus or take the astaxanthin or take the olive leaf root or take the colloidal silver. Those could all be great, but next thing you know, you're on 20 different things, right? And we're always aware of that. So, yeah, I mean, you're seeing that too, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, and to kind of give you an example, hold on a second. So if we talk about kind of immune support, right? So, you know, there's things that you want to do, you know, there's the usual suspects. So, you know, like here's the thing that I just ordered for myself and family, which is like immune support things that are the things we kind of talked about from a supportive standpoint. But, you know, and that kind of falls into the one size fits all umbrella. And you talk about empowering yourself, because that is kind of the general immune support. But then I also know my genetic predisposition. I know my wife, I know my kids' genetic predisposition, and I know other things that maybe are more targeted to their immune support because of genetic weakness. I know where their highway narrows down, and there's a higher likelihood that whether it be this kind of viral component that's out there or something down the road, I know where that traffic is going to get gridlocked down and wreak havoc and create problems or create symptoms. And so we're talking about, you know, this kind of pinpointing this weakens immune aspect. And this is kind of what we formulated with this your genetic type concept that we've been talking about for the last year, almost now, that if somebody has, you know, a autoimmune issue, or they kind of fall into that kind of higher, you know, concerning demographic where something like, you know, what's going on now in the world can hit them a little bit harder, you know, a lot of those people, you know, are going to fall into that weakened immune genetic type. And what that means is when they have some type of stress related to their immune system, like a virus, and this could be any virus, okay, they're going to create a lot of traffic and a lot of congestion because they've got one lane roads for their immune system to tolerate with that load. Now, it gets more complex than, you know, there's a lot of other tangents and you know, side roads that play into this, but kind of big picture, we know where viruses can really wreak havoc. And people that have a lot of genetic weakness in that weak immune type, when they get viral aspects, it hits them harder in terms of symptomatology because their pathways don't work as effective as they could. They've got decreased protein or decreased enzyme function. And that is so empowering to know your genetic predisposition and to know, hey, based on, you know, having a genetic test and knowing where your weakness is, or knowing that you fall into this weak immune type, you can maybe know how to, you know, pinpoint or really customize support so that your biochemistry works more effectively. So then the need for like anything and everything you're reading out, you know, that you're getting emailed or on social media, all those kind of things that do help and do boost immunity, you're not going to need as much. You're not going to have to push things as much because you're doing things that are more specific and precise for your genetic predisposition.
Right, exactly. So, you know, and that's why we wanted to just hop on the call today, because we also know being quarantined and being in your home, you got a lot of time on your hands. And so what we've done is we've created this Your Unlocked course, and we've boiled down all the hours that we spent working on clients and figuring out where we were at the very beginning and where are we now, and how to simplify the roadmap in terms of, hey, we have 7 core genetic types, and you can take a questionnaire to figure out which type you are. And that's a free questionnaire that you can take at yourgenetictype.com. But what we've done is we've also put the Unlocked course together that we pretty much have as low a price point as possible for people to be able to get into, so that they can learn about their genetic type, even if they don't have the genetic test, MTHFR test, or 23andMe or Ancestry. But if they do, it will especially be helpful, especially for those that have been dealing with a health issue before this concern, and they weren't doing very well, John. They were the ones that were really looking for answers, and you've seen them, I've seen them, where they have so much time that they look on the internet to figure out what's going on with their health. Their doctor's not helping them. They know about MTHFR, and they can't put puzzle pieces together. So maybe give us sort of an idea as to what is included in that Your Genetic Type course. And now that it's 50% off, the Unlocked course, tell us what the actual price is and what they're going to get with that investment.
Yeah, so we're doing a March Madness sale, and it's kind of a little sale because everything's going on and people have a little more free time where, hey, giving people the advantage to jump on this to kind of learn about genetic factors for things going on now, but also for things that were going on previously and in the future. So this course, like I said, we put a lot of hours into it. We're doing a March Madness sale, selling it for $59 right now, so it's nothing. For the most part, based on the information that's in that course. But we want to educate people. We want people to be able to take power back into their own hands. And there's so many people that I talk to all the time that have done an ancestry test, done 23andMe or Ancestry.com, and they don't realize the amount of information that is just sitting there available for them to be able to take power back to learn some more information on how to address their health. And so this course is going to do a couple things. Number one, it's going to teach you how to read the genetic test, big picture of what this information means. It's going to walk you through it. And then also what it's going to do is it's going to walk you through these 7 core genetic types and then teach you how to be able to kind of pull specific gene components out of those tests you're looking at to determine what are the big players for each one of those core genetic types, and then second, what to do about it in terms of dietary support, supplementation support, things of that nature. And so if somebody's watching this right now and you have genetic data, or if you don't have genetic data, like you mentioned the quiz, take the quiz, that'll help kind of steer you down the rabbit hole of where your focus is. And if it's something where time is of the essence because you want to figure out maybe how to support your immune system a little bit different, a little more specific, you can just jump right into that course and really kind of delve into some of the key genetic types. You can listen to all the educational aspects of that course that deal with the weakened immune genetic type. You can deal with, or you can listen to all the things that deal with the histamine type. And those are probably the core things you want to focus on now to figure out if you have genetic weakness there. Those are the things you want to support to be able to get the traffic moving in your biochemistry. And that's going to create a more resilient environment for your body to cope with those outside stressors that come in and wreak havoc.
Yeah, and just a little insight, because I don't think we've made it so that it's automated, where if you take that quiz, you got to leave your email. And then once you learn your genetic type, you'll get follow-up emails. And those follow-up emails will give you an opportunity to buy the course, but the course won't be $99. So what we'll do is we'll put another link if you just decide to do the quiz in wherever you're watching this. So that way you'll be able to get that savings where just, take that leap of faith and know that we know what we're talking about. And I guarantee that the information you get will be more than you've ever heard before in the context where it's not overly complicated, and it makes it a self-learning guided thing, so that you can really, I guess I've used the word bulletproof yourself, or really I've been looking at it, John, in terms of making lemonade out of lemons and taking the situation and being able to enhance your health at a deeper level, at a much more enriched level than going into this scare, and coming out of it ahead more than just not just escaping, kind of thing.
Yep, I completely agree. Yeah.
So, okay, awesome. So we'll do that. We'll put 2 links in here. We'll put the link for the quiz, and we'll put the link for directly getting the Your Genetic Type Unlocked course at 50% off. And we look forward to helping you through this crisis in better energy and better health and better immune system than going into it. And that's all I got. How about you?
That's it. Wish everybody the best health.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon.